Welcome back to Behind the Box. Today we are going to be discussing the card game Darkness. This was sent to us by Board Game Exposure, so while we haven't paid for the game, that won't impact the quality of the review. Now, just for your information, this is a prototype, so anything that you see is subject to change.
So, the Darkness card game is a set collection game where each round you'll be playing different coloured cards from your hand to try and earn different relics and artifacts. Whoever plays the most of the colour required by the artifacts and relics earns them. And then there are also these Darkness cards that will come into play, and if enough of those come out, certain players will have to lose cards from their collections.
So we played this only in 2-player games. So that's the angle that we're going to be coming at with this. And we did have quite a few issues. So what I'd like to do is just start with the positives first. So positives. The art, fantastic. The cards were beautiful. I especially liked the everyone gets like a hand of 6 different colored cards.
Yep.
And those were so beautiful. They had different like animal designs on them. Yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous art. Also, it was quick to play and easy to learn. We didn't have any trouble learning the rules. But if you did have trouble learning the rules, the prototype had in the rule book the contact details for the actual creator. So if you did have any rules questions, you could always like pose it to the creator. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That was cool.
Neat.
I don't think that's going to be in the main game.
No,
I
I don't
just
think
for
so.
reviewers and prototype people, but that was not something we've ever
It's
seen
a nice
before.
touch.
On to the negatives. Now, I'm probably going to sound really harsh here, so I do apologise in advance, but we did not like this game. Hardly at all. Like Lindsay said, we played it at 2-player, and I think for definite it does not work with 2. I also don't see it in its current state working even with more players. I think there is the bones of a game here. There is something that can be built upon, but this feels like it's gone through a couple of iterations with playtesters, and this is the level it's reached, and there's still more to do. So, the biggest problem we have with the game was that it plays itself. So, there were a lot of turns when, as the cards were coming out that we were going to be fighting for that round, we both kind of looked at each other and went, pretty sure we know who's getting what here.
Yeah.
And every single time, we were like, we played it out. I said, right, well, let's play out the hand, see what happens. We're not going to confer, we're not going to plan and try and make sure we match to each other the way we think we will. But we just did, because the amount of times, like, cards would come out where 4 of the 6 need a blue, everyone's going to go for the blue. You'd be silly not to, because you'll just lose out too much. And another huge problem I have is with the Darkness cards. So, the Darkness cards, the way they work, if a third one comes out, then whoever's got the most cards has to discard down to whoever's the second place. So, for us, when we played, I was about 5 cards ahead of Lindsay, and then the third Darkness card came out. So we're going to put an image on the screen right now of an actual picture we took during gameplay. So you'll see there that the third Darkness card has come out, the other 2 are on the right hand side, and the other 6 cards that have been presented are the artifacts available this round. You'll notice the Darkness card requires 3 orange and 1 blue out of the possible 6 cards that I can play. This round, I was not able to get anything other than one of the relics on the left-hand side, because Lindsay just played 3 red and 3 green and got all 6 of the other cards. This was pretty huge and kind of a turning point, because they all kind of matched up as well with the stuff that you had.
Yeah.
That was a really big problem for us, and that actually then happened later on again to
Only
you.
the opposite, yeah.
And you had to deal with the Darkness card. Now, I understand the point of the Darkness cards, that there is like a catch-up mechanic. It's meant to help the people that are behind to stop the one player getting ahead. My thing with catch-up mechanics, though, is that it shouldn't be a penalty for the person doing well. You shouldn't throw a rope around them. You should boost the person behind. They should get a way to be pushed forward instead of pulling the other player back, and that's what this game did. And that was the issue. Even in a higher player count, I still don't think this works, because you're punishing the person that's doing well, not helping the people that are doing worse.
And not even a little bit of a punishment. Like, it's big. It's really big when the darkness comes out.
I would have had about maybe 12 cards, and you had about 7. I'm losing almost 50% of my cards just because of the way these colours came out. And that kind of leads me into my next big criticism, is that when you play with lower player counts, you have to remove cards randomly from the deck. The big problem with that is you might wind up getting rid of a bunch of one type of artifact, and let's say on the very first round, 2 of that artifact come out, that a lot of them have been removed. Lindsay might go for those, because they kind of go well and she likes the look of them. I might go for another one. And then as the game goes on, it becomes apparent you're not getting any more of those. And I got really lucky because the ones I selected, all of them were still in the deck.
Yeah.
I do have a solution for this. At least we think it would work. If you structure how you remove cards from the deck, instead of doing it randomly, if instead you are told, okay, remove 2 of each relic, 2 of each artifact, and 2 of the darkness cards. And that structure still means it's scaled. It works well then at the lower player counts up to the higher player counts to a degree. Like I said, there's still those other problems that I think need fixing, but that I think should at least solve that problem of the randomization and just getting unlucky. It's just a bad draw, effectively, and you lose because of that. Yeah, like I said, it was going to be harsh, but that was our overall thought on the negatives was, it's not strong.
Yeah, I did think that it was interesting that we had an opportunity to collect cards, these artifacts and things that could help you. But the artifacts, you need to use 5 of your colored cards towards them. And quite often, it just doesn't work out. I think I was able to collect 1.
Yeah.
The whole game.
Same. I only collected 1, and it was on the round when I had to deal with that darkness card, just because I knew there was nothing else I could get.
And honestly, it's not even like that advantageous to go for the relics instead of the artifacts that you're supposed. The whole idea of the game is to be collecting these artifacts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, I don't know. I feel like a solution for that would be the relics. You know, the little trinkets that you can get that help you. Maybe you only need 4 cards to get those.
Yeah, like 2 colours and then 2 colours, so they might still match up.
Yeah.
I do think that's primarily a problem in a 2-player game, because we found more often than not we were playing 3 of one colour and 3 of another. And so when you've got a thing that needs 3 different colours, you're sacrificing your cards, and the other person might then beat you in ties. And that was the problem in the 2-player version for us with the relics like that.
Yeah. But on the bright side, back to the art, you know, I love that art. And honestly, because maybe it's because it's a prototype and they wanted to fit everything into a smaller box. I don't know. But the cards are very, very small. Like, here's an example of how big the card was. I think, like, if this was bigger,
a full-size
an actual
card.
like card size, you know, you could really enjoy that art so much more, because these animals and the designs, it's marvelous. Somebody took a lot of time to design those, and
they were beautiful.
Be nice to actually like
appreciate them more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are our thoughts on the game. I'll leave links down in the description to the Board Game Geek page. I'll leave a link to the Kickstarter. It is over, but you can check out and see what sort of stretch goals they've achieved, things like that. And yeah, I'll leave our social media as usual. But until the next one, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Looks like you put dankness.
The dankest of memes. Okay. Today we're going to be discussing a board game. We haven't done a run through yet, so that's why it's not in my bread. Bread?